attention to following regulations. There is no smoking, eating, or drinking permitted in the auditorium. Smoking is not permitted in the lobby, vestibule, or restaurant. The use of cameras, video cameras, and recording devices is strictly prohibited without special permission from the owner. Each violator is audience members are not permitted to sit or stand on any aisle or area. At this time, please take a moment to go to the emergency. Emergency patients are following procedures. Thank you for your attention and hope you enjoy today's session.
Okay, here we go. All right.
Please be seated. Good afternoon, and welcome to our Convocation for Fall 2004. This date marks the beginning of a very special celebration for William Paterson University. Beginning today and continuing through fall 2005, we will be celebrating the university's sesquicentennial, the 150th anniversary of the founding of this institution in 1855. My name is Stephen Hahn, and I'm Associate Provost and Professor of English here at the university. Convocation is an annual meeting of the faculty and administration with members of the first-year class to welcome you to the academic life here at William Paterson University. I would like to begin today's ceremony by introducing you to the members of the platform party seated behind me on the front row. Beginning at my immediate right, Arnold Speert, President of the University, Anthony Pessolano, a 1980 graduate of William Paterson University, now General Manager of the Pepsi Cola Bottling Group of New Jersey, this morning's keynote speaker. Henry Pruitt, member of the Board of Trustees, Stephen Boyer, Vice President for Administration and Finance, Sandra Deller, Vice President for Institutional Advancement, Kim Daniel Robinson, Director of the First Year Experience, and Virginia Overdorf, Professor of Exercise and Movement Science and Mace Bearer. On my immediate left, Provost Cherno Sese, Provost and Executive Vice President, Nina Jabot, Associate Vice President and Dean of Graduate Studies and Research, Sandra DeYoung, Dean, College of Science and Health, Jess Baronico, Dean, Christos M. Katsakos College of Business, Ophelia Garcia, Dean, College of the Arts and Communication, Isabel Tirado, Dean, College of the Humanities and Social Sciences, Leslie Agar Jones, Dean, College of Education, and John Martone, Associate Vice President and Dean of Student Development. We want to give you a brief explanation of the academic procession that we use to begin Convocation. We use this procession at two very important academic ceremonies: Convocation as you begin your studies, and Commencement as you complete your studies. The symbols involved in the ceremony harken back to ancient times to remind us of our ties to the traditions of academia. The procession is led by a senior faculty member who carries the university mace. Carrying the mace is an ancient ritual that symbolizes the president's authority to administer the university. Each college is represented by a processional banner. The colors on the banners represent the different degrees offered by that college. The faculty and administration are dressed in academic caps, gowns, and hoods. The colors of the hoods represent the official color of the college or university that conferred their degree and correspond to the colors in the processional banners. It is traditional at Convocation for the president of the university to open the program, and I am pleased to call upon President Speert to do so. President Speert.
Good afternoon. For this convocation, I've called together the faculty, librarians, and professional staff of William Paterson University. Why? To welcome you, the freshman class of 2004, to our community, and to remind all of us of the vital and exciting intellectual life at William Paterson. What we do here today is linked back to ancient Greece and China, and some scholars suggest to Africa before that. In the United States, the first college was Harvard, established in 1636. William Paterson University, originally known as Paterson City Normal School, was established in 1855, which makes it one of the senior institutions of higher education in the United States, even older than such well-known and established schools such as UCLA, Boston College, and Stanford University. The British statesman Benjamin Disraeli, in a speech in the House of Commons, said, quote, "A university should be a place of light, of liberty, and of learning." Of light, because here we seek truth and understanding. Here at William Paterson, you will have ample opportunity and encouragement to reflect upon philosophical, political, and social principles. Of liberty, because here we preserve and revere the freedom to question, challenge, and adopt any and all positions. You can experiment with ideas with confidence that others are interested in your thoughts and efforts. Of learning, because here you and we enjoy the fruits of the labor of a dedicated faculty. The rigorous curriculum and distinctive programs in which you will be immersed are the result of many hours of discussion and debate. The resulting curriculum emphasizes a strong footing in the arts and sciences and an equally strong exposure to the professions, which means that you will learn about all aspects of the world and about your chosen field of study and its relationship to that world. Most notable in your transition to our community is the fact that you now have available to you this group of faculty, outstanding teachers, distinguished scholars, and creative artists to guide you as you progress. They have an impact not only campus-wide, but regionally, nationally, and internationally because of their efforts to advance knowledge. Keep in mind that the faculty are here to teach you and to work with you. Seek out those whose intellectual approaches, interests, and achievements stimulate and enrich you. They are the core of the many interconnected learning communities which form the William Paterson University community. It is the community to which you now belong. We believe that this is the single most important community you will ever join, and we welcome you as members. When you graduate from this community of learners and teachers and scholars, you will be in many ways a different person in your habits of thought, in the way you view the world, and in the manner in which you conduct your life. Each of us, individually, and all of us as a community, wish the greatest and most rewarding success to each and every one of you. Welcome.
Thank you, President Spirit. I would now like to introduce our keynote speaker, Anthony Pessolano. A graduate of William Paterson University's business program in 1980, Anthony Pessolano now serves as general manager of the Pepsi Cola Bottling Group of New Jersey. Since assuming this position in 1998, he has played a key role in transforming Pepsi's business in New Jersey. Mr. Pessolano joined Pepsi 21 years ago as a route driver and mechanic, and after learning the business, he was promoted to Vice President of Sales for Pepsi International. In that role, his work took him to over 40 countries worldwide, where he was responsible for the major relaunch of the Pepsi business in Brazil and startup businesses in mainland China. Because of his work in international business, he has a unique perspective on what the global community has to offer, and this perspective has served him well with both of his employees and those future leaders he coaches. He is a recognized leader in developing a more diverse, respect-centered culture at Pepsi and has authored his own video, Creating the Right Work Environment. His community commitment to such organizations as Tomorrow's Children, the Leukemia Foundation, and the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation has earned him many awards, among them 3 PepsiCo Community Service Awards, Honor al Merito from the Desfile Hispano-Americano de New Jersey, and the Rosa Parks Community Service Award from the Metuchen Edison branch of the NAACP. He was recently elected to the Board of Education for the Northern Highlands Regional High School. We are fortunate that Mr. Pessolano plays an active role here at William Paterson, serving as a member of the Board of Directors of the William Paterson University Foundation. He has also endowed a scholarship in the name of his mother, Anne Pessolano. Please join me in welcoming back one of our most distinguished alumni to William Paterson University.
Well, thank you very much, and welcome to William Paterson. You know, I, like all of you, I hope in a few short years, I'm a graduate from William Paterson. You know, and it struck me as I was putting together my comments for today that when I graduated 25 years ago, most of you weren't even born. So I was feeling a little old when I was putting it together. But I also thought about what an amazing ride it has been since I left this campus. I've had a wonderful career at Pepsi that has taken me to over 40 countries around the world. And today I am fortunate enough to be the head of what is a $300 million business. And again, when I look back over that time, I don't think many people would have predicted that outcome, particularly the way I started out, which I'll share a little bit with you today. And it did all start for me here. And I feel tremendous pride and gratitude to have been asked to spend a few minutes here today as you begin what will be one of the most important journeys of your life. I want to share with you a little about my experience as a student and some thoughts on developing a success plan. And hopefully I can even give you a couple tips today that if you take them to heart, having learned some of these the hard way, I really think they will benefit you over time. When I arrived on the campus in 1976, I was the living, breathing example of the road less traveled. You know, as a country, we had just pulled out of Vietnam the year before, and there was an entire generation looking for its next cause. Historians have suggested we became a bit of a lost generation in terms of where we wanted to go, what we would do with our lives. With the end of the war, we lost some part of our identity. But one thing we knew for sure, if you were from the establishment, don't tell us what to do, because we knew it all. I had dropped out of college out of a different university a few years earlier, and I was really running out of options. I went through more jobs than I can recall, and I was still living in my parents' basement at the time. You know, my poor dad was pretty convinced I would never amount to much, yet I wish so much he could be here on a day like this. So there I was on the doorstep of William Paterson without a lot going for myself, and I had no plan. The reception and support I received from the faculty and staff at William Paterson is what brings me back here today. In my time as a student, I received a terrific education by a dedicated and very down-to-earth educational team. And it is a team, people who are working together on behalf of making your futures the best that they possibly can be. Today, as Vice President and General Manager of Pepsi, I send my own team back here to recruit new employees for the very same reason. I'm a firm believer that William Paterson University students embody the kind of hardworking, high-integrity people that our company is built on. I want to really encourage you all to take advantage of this faculty and staff. Get to know them. Make sure they know you. Learn to network, seek advice, develop advocates, encourage sponsorships, and be involved in your campus community life. You know, I got an awful lot from my experience at William Paterson, but perhaps more than anything, what this faculty gave me was a belief in myself. I didn't have a lot of confidence when I got here, and boy, I had more than my share of failures, but what I learned here was a level of confidence I just did not have before I arrived. It was a conviction that said to me, my family background, where I grew up, past failures and some accomplishments, however modest they were, where I went to school, were all defining moments, landmarks along the way that I could capitalize on if I chose to. And I want to emphasize that, if I chose to. That, I learned, was the operative phrase. My success and my future was up to me, and yours is up to you. But that, my young friends, is a pretty heavy responsibility. Once you decide with your head, your heart, and your hands that you own your success and your future, that's when the work really starts. You know, college will be another one of those defining moments in your life, and I would encourage you to make the most of it. There will be fun parts of it, new friends, campus life, but it is hard work. There will be no one looking over your shoulder telling you when and where to be. This isn't high school anymore. You don't make class, you don't turn quality work in, you pay the price. It's pretty simple. Of course, the opposite is also true. You work hard, you stay engaged, and you will experience great success. But once you own your future, you'll never be a victim again. You become accountable for yourself, to yourself. In this world, at the university level, outside when you're working full-time, instructors or bosses, they don't want excuses. They want results. So here's one of my first tips. Don't confuse effort with results. Lots of people try hard, but results are what we get rewarded for. You know, I heard someone on TV in the last week with the Olympics going on, talking about the Olympics, and more specifically about medals. And he said, you know what? I'm glad they still give out medals. Gold for first. That's it. If you're the best at what you do, you get the top prize. And I agree. It's a more competitive world out there than ever before, and to finish among the elite, you better be good at your craft. Frankly, I worry that we've gone so far as a society that in many cases with young people, we try so hard to be politically correct. We pat little Johnny or little Susie on the back and say, it's all okay, you tried. Well, you know what? Trying's not enough. It is damn competitive world out there, and I worry that we are losing some of what made this country great. I read a speech recently by Bill Gates, of course, the founder of Microsoft and the richest person in America, that he gave to a group of graduating high school students, so it could have been many of you just a few short months ago. And he said, you know, your school may have done away with winners and losers, but life has not. In some schools, they have abolished failing grades, and they'll give you as many times as you want to get the right answer. This doesn't bear the slightest resemblance to anything in real life. But here's the really good news. The opportunity for you as an incoming class is just absolutely staggering. Of course, I speak from the vantage point of big business, of global business. But I don't know how many of you are aware that research suggests that over the next 10 years, there will be a 15% reduction in the available talent for middle and senior level executives in this country. That's between 10 and 20 million great jobs that will become available, so you need to start thinking about that today. And you know, when people ask me, what does it take to succeed in the real world? What do I look for when I interview people or we hire people at Pepsi? I tell them about what I call the 7 blocks of granite. They are integrity, commitment, work ethic, instinct, vision, being innovative, and being coachable. Okay? 7 things. The rest is easy. You know, we can learn to succeed at just about anything if you can embody most, if not all of those traits. And I want you to also notice that I said nothing about, you know, where you were raised, what your family income was, where did you go to school, who were your parents, who did you know growing up. None of that matters. I cannot teach those traits. And I will tell you, every great company out there, and if you were running your own company someday, you probably will want to embody a similar list. That's what we're all looking for. Those are the traits, those are the characteristics you need to focus on. The rest is easy. We'll teach you the rest. You know, one of the things that I like to ask when I speak to groups like this is, you know, is there anybody in the audience who's interested in making a lot of money? Nobody? Anybody want to retire early with millions of dollars of net worth? All right. Okay. I'm telling you that opportunity is out there for every one of you. Hopefully I'll get the opportunity to get to know some of you personally, because I really do think there is a plan to get there. So quite a few of you would like to do that, and I think that's pretty logical. Can't be everything in your life, but you know what? Money's nice. But you have to have a plan to get there. So my next question is how many of you have what you would call a life list, a plan that you have written down at home for the things that you want to accomplish? Anybody? It's a little hard for me to see, so I can't see. I'm sure there's lots of hands up out there, because I'm not seeing very many of them. Okay, here's the deal. Most important piece of advice I can give you today is, if you do not have a plan, if it is not written down somewhere, how will you ever know how you're doing and if you ever get there? So here it is, rule number 1. If you remember one thing from my comments today, please remember this, and there are no exceptions, is you need a plan, and it needs to be in writing. Write down all the things you want to do before you leave this earth. You need to know where you want to go before you can figure out what it's going to take to get there. I redo mine every year on my birthday. It became a tradition a long time ago. I take my list out, and I see how I did in the last year. You know, I cross things off. I modify if necessary. You know, if I don't take up skydiving soon, my knees aren't going to hold out, and I might have to take that off my list. But it's on there. It's about little accomplishments. It's about big ambitions. It's about being involved with your community. It's about educational goals. It's about professional aspirations. It's about personal things. But you have to write it down. And you have to look at it, and you have to modify it. Once a year is usually fine. But I took this concept some years ago, and I have a little sign behind my desk. And when things aren't going well, and I certainly have my share of days with 900 people and 13,000 customers, there are going to be days when things go wrong. And when I do have those days, I look at that little sign behind my desk, and it says, it's all about the plan. It's all about the plan. And if you can synthesize your thinking down into that reminder, it's amazing what you can stay focused on and what you can accomplish. Now, one of the things I'm a big believer in is stealing good ideas. You know, the wheel's been invented. Don't try to redo it. It's working, okay? Don't spend your time and energy thinking or believing that you have to come up with the next big idea. Because I'll give you something else to consider. The real breakthrough thinking comes from people who realize that the task is not so much to see what no one yet has seen, but to think what nobody yet has thought about which everybody sees. Okay, let me just repeat that because I think it's an important concept. The task is not so much to see what no one yet has seen, but to think what nobody yet has thought about which everybody sees. Okay, think about that. So in the spirit of stealing good ideas, I'm going to go back to my Bill Gates pointers because I thought they were pretty good. So here was rule number 1. Life is not fair. Get used to it. Rule number 2. The world won't care about your self-esteem. The world will expect you to accomplish something before you feel good about yourself. Okay? Rule number 3. You will not make $60,000 a year right out of high school. You won't be a vice president with a car phone until you earn both. If you think a teacher is tough, wait till you get a boss. Rule 5, flipping burgers is not beneath your dignity. Your grandparents and your parents had a different word for flipping burgers. They called it opportunity. Rule 6, if you mess up, it's not your parents' fault. So don't whine about it. Whine about your mistakes, learn from them. Rule 7, life is not divided into semesters. You don't get summers off, and very few employers are interested in helping you find yourself. Do that on your own time. Rule 8, television is not real life. In real life, people actually have to leave the coffee shop and go to jobs. And rule number 9, look around you as you start your university experience and be nice to nerds because chances are you'll end up working for one. One final quote from Jim Valvano, a great basketball coach and a Jersey guy. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Have a wonderful time and best of luck.
We will now stand for the singing of William Paterson's Alma Mater, which is printed in your program. Leading the Alma Mater is Philip Haltman, a senior voice major, accompanied by Brianne Ford, a May 2004 Jazz Studies graduate.
share thy learnings, diffuse thy truth and light, and eager children add to our country's might. Thy ears may soon divide us, our hearts return to thee. Thy lessons held and cherished, enshrined in memory. We're pioneers courageous, we face a wider world, aiding the spread of knowledge, truth's banner bright unfurled. A new song bursts like blossoms, our hearts lingers like fire, and student rise with visions, and visions won't expire, and constant is our courage, we sing in unison. Our dream has sprung where we've begun, at William Paterson. The earth is our great teacher in wilderness and grace. It tells us to build gardens with kindness on our face. The future is that garden we're planting in the sun, and all our seeds will wake up flowers at William Paterson.
Please remain standing. Please remain standing. A William Paterson tradition is to welcome you into the academic community by posing to you the first-year challenge. Presenting the challenge is Dr. Kim Daniel Robinson, Director of the First Year Experience. You'll find the challenge printed on the inside of your program.
Good afternoon, and congratulations to all first-year students. This is a very exciting time in your life. Today is the first day of your higher education journey. Depending on the challenges you face and the choices you make, you can succeed here at William Paterson University. Your orientation and registration process, today's convocation, your first-year seminar class, and your first-year experience are designed to provide you with a strong foundation for your academic success. As you begin this journey, I challenge you to become a member of our academic community, to do your best as a student, scholar, and participate in academic life, to know yourself and take responsibility for your learning, to find ways and means to celebrate diversity while building unity, and to join us in the teaching and learning process. First-year students, if you accept this challenge, respond now by saying, "I accept this challenge." I accept this challenge. Thank you.
On behalf of the faculty and administration, I congratulate you on accepting the first-year challenge and welcome you to the academic community at William Paterson University. We will conclude the convocation exercises with the procession of faculty and administration from the auditorium accompanied by music by our brass quintet with Ivan Miller and Jeffrey Vano on trumpet, Christopher Costanzi on French horn, Steve Schulman on trombone, and Matthew Ingman on tuba. Please remain standing until all the faculty have processed out of the auditorium. Thank you and good luck.